Assalamu alaikum viewers, you are watching Modest Muse in Review with me, Mushra Hartley. I'm the editor and publisher of Modest Muse lifestyle publication for Muslim women and Muslim men now recently. Today in our show we are taking a different spin on things. So Modest Muse is on episode 10 already on Deen TV. We are one of the newer programs, one of the first female hosted programs on Deen TV, and I'm in studio asking the crew, do you like it? Do you love it? Give me feedback. And with me here is Faisal Sayed. Faisal, how are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Very well, thank you. I'm a little bit nervous at your feedback, but
no, you shouldn't be, because I suppose that feedback is part of growth and development, and it's how you view that, of course. But it's interesting that you wanted to talk about the show itself on the show, and I think that's a good thing to do, to be able to not only about the feedback but also talk about the role of the show and how that fits in with what you're doing from a newspaper point of view. But before we do that, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Are you enjoying the show?
I'm loving it. TV is out of my comfort zone. I must be honest, I don't watch all my episodes because it feels uncomfortable watching myself on TV, and I'm like, do I really sound like that? Do people actually listen to me sounding like that? But I enjoy the people that I meet. I enjoy the collaboration between print and TV, because within print you get a part of a story, and then when you meet the person, there's something else, there's a connection, there's something deeper that you feel. You can go more in depth into their story. So I'm enjoying.
You can see the emotions of the story.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely enjoying that, because reading is a very one-dimensional thing. It's how you perceive this thing on paper. But when I interview these people, that there's more stuff.
Other dynamics that goes on there. It's just to give you a bit of feedback. We feel that the show has a very key space in what we do as a broadcaster, because we fulfill a specific need, and we know that in the world today, and if you look at the world today, you see that people are talking about Islam in general, and there's a lot of negative press going on there, and part of that negative press is people saying things about Islam as an oppressive force against women. Now, I know that your paper, for one, says, and when looking through the Modest Muse, for those that can get a copy of that, you'll notice that anyone picking this up would be able to say that that cannot be the truth, because the paper debunks a lot of those myths, and I think that the TV show, and you as a female presenter being part of the Modest Muse publication or the editor, and then talking about that position of Muslim women in our society and the real position thereof, I think that goes a long way. So that's what we see from a channel point of view as delivering as part of our mandate to correct thoughts that are incorrect.
In the beginning of the show, I think about the first 7 episodes were I interviewed women only, and then males came forward with their stories. One of them was a founder of a rehabilitation center.
I saw that. I was wondering what these male guests were doing on your show.
And so it's the show itself has grown because the readers have grown. We were primarily female readers, and now women are passing it on to their husbands and saying this is inspirational, or this is interesting, and these gentlemen are sending in their selfies with Modest Muse. So we're not just for Muslim women anymore. It's for...
So our crew has sort of become accustomed to you, your guest, your approach to the show. They are used to editing now the program. And I suppose during that process they also learn a few things that they didn't know. How are you finding the crew at Deen TV on your show specifically?
Well, they've taught me a lot, because TV is completely new to me. So the technicalities, I've had crew powder my nose, and they are not female, so that's interesting.
But you likes doing this. We had this issue this morning in studio.
Good at it as well.
When you enjoy something, you become good at it, and it also allows one to sort of manifest your other behaviors that you can't generally manifest. And that comes out behind the scenes. And I think we're going to show our viewers some of those behind the scenes later.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then I've learned some of the technicalities, and I just think it's awesome. I'm in studio and I see this unfinished raw interview with someone, and then to see the finished product, I realize how much work goes into it. So I appreciate what they do, and I do think they're very modest about it. Excuse the pun, modest. but a lot of work goes into what they do, and they need much more credit, I think.
Has your perception about television changed? Because people that normally watch TV and those that work behind the scenes have two different thought patterns of what TV is.
Definitely changed. I now don't believe that the Kardashians is a reality show, because there's no way that they can, I mean, with microphones on and people testing sound and all of that beforehand, that they can be real. There is some sort of acting going on there. So it's definitely changed my perception.
Of course. So just to give you a bit of feedback also on the channel side, we as the channel, we review our shows from time to time, and we look at what's working and what's not working on a show. To date on Modest Muse, we have not really picked up any real negativity or negative issues. When I say real negativity, it's a term I use in television for the mere reason that if you get one caller that says, I don't like this particular subject, you cannot go on that as a television medium, because you're dealing with huge amounts of people. So when I talk about real negativity, it's like, did we have 5,000 complaints about the same thing? No, not at all. People are actually enjoying it. My mother is a fan of the show, so she waits for the newspaper and then she watches the program, that sort of thing. So I know many such people.
It's a big relief, Faisal, because coming onto the show, and I realized the enormity of the role that I play now, which I didn't realize before becoming the editor of this paper. So this paper was my idea, my little baby, and I put it out there in print. And in my head it was, okay, it's going to reach 30,000 people, 60,000 for the month. And that was still easy to comprehend for me. Now you're on TV and you're reaching millions of viewers, then it became a little bit scary and a little bit daunting. And I sat one night and I thought, am I putting the right message across of Islam? Am I the right role model? Am I portraying the right image? And I all of a sudden felt this enormous amount of pressure to be a certain way, because I'm on TV now. And then I thought, just relax. You can't be anybody but yourself. Be true to yourself, be authentic, and see what happens.
Now that's something that we noticed about you. When we looked at we look at our presenters too, we're trying to look at their performance and that sort of thing. And the one thing we picked up about you was the fact that you were being yourself. And we always tell presenters, be yourself, because it's very difficult to be someone else and very stressful to be somebody else. So if somebody bumps into you in the road and they say, oh, okay, for me they stop me and they say you're slightly shorter. That's fine, I can't help that one.
But they can always say that about me too.
Correct, yes, but generally, if you come across differently when someone bumps into you down the road, and you sound and speak differently, and you're just not the same character, it puts a viewer off. So if they bump into you and they say, oh, you're just exactly the same, you talk as much nonsense in real life, then that's fine, because that's really you. So we pick up that about you, that you're just yourself on the show. And I recall the first episode. I was sitting in the first episode with you, looking at how that process is going to unfold. And
very uncomfortable. That was very uncomfortable.
I remember this, but I recall I was very happy watching that first episode, saying to myself, I think Mushra is going to go places with this one, because there wasn't much that we needed to do from a channel perspective. You looked confident and happy to go with this.
No, I am. And I got the feedback I've gotten. So you've gotten positive feedback, and on Facebook I was people have said, "Oh, Cape Town's Oprah," and so that's the kind of feedback. And I was like, "Hey, I'm doing a talk show. This is awesome. I'm loving the experience. I'm loving the feedback. I myself haven't received any negative feedback. Some people have given me suggestions for growth for the show. They said do some cooking, do some outdoor filming. So let's see where it goes.
It goes, yes. Do you feel that I don't know if this happens to me on my show. I tend to sort of get involved with the journey of the guest. So it gets into my head and into my space for that time. Does that happen to you, where you become part of that person's journey?
Definitely.
You relate to it a bit more?
Not just in the space of the show, but afterwards. So now a lot of my guests have added me on WhatsApp. They send me pictures of what's happening, Eid Mubarak messages, what they've preparing for lunch for Eid. And so we've become friends, because I know them. Because before we shoot, we chat about, and I learn about this person's the whys of why they're doing what they're doing. And so there's a connection.
Challenges, let me tell you about some of the challenges we go through after, and a show needs to also mature over time. And some of those challenges are that people assume that we are able to solve all the world's problems, and they bring that to our attention. We appreciate them bringing those things to our attention, but certain things, the expectation is sometimes there to say, I've spoken to this guy on TV, I've spoken to Mushra, they probably can solve the problem. So in a way, part of it is true because you would like to use the power to make that effective change. But again, American television has sold a lot of Oprah to us and Dr. Phil. And what happens with that is that we sit back assuming that I take something to the Oprah show, they're going to slash it out and the problem is solved. That doesn't always happen that way.
Besides solving of problems, there's that, but there's also I think people see opportunity because now you're hosting a talk show, and so people come to me like, I started this business, this will be cool for your show, and so there's that, I'm seeing a marketing opportunity, and I need to be on your show, but they don't see that it needs to be a story in the paper for our readers and then journey onto the show and make a full circle. So it's not just a marketing tool for any new business that's popping up.
Of course. What do you think about the convergence model and the collaboration between print and TV? Because for many people like us, we are primarily sitting, and I've had some experience with print in the past, but you have a complete round model where you are sitting both in print and on TV. So it's a very unique space to be in. How do you feel the dynamics in between all of that?
I feel, so it's print, TV, and obviously the shows on YouTube as well. And we've got the mobile magazine, so it's print, digital, TV, online video. So it's complete 360.
Do you feel they work well together?
I do think so. And why I think so is because it simply gets your content to more eyeballs. So these people that read print that aren't online, these people that's online that don't read print, our publication is only distributed in Western Cape. So there's people in Durban, Johannesburg, the rest of Africa that's watching Deen TV that don't get the print publication. So it simply means more eyeballs for our content, which is amazing.
Correct, yes. And I think that's an important point that so the Western Cape is getting their 60,000 copies per month, and now, but the content is also viewable, Johannesburg, Durban, for example. So I think that's amazing.
It is.
Correct. Mushra, on our side, from a channel perspective, Modest Muse is one of the programs that we would probably run in continuum all the time. So it will just be running all the time as long as you are committed and dedicated to the show. What's your thoughts around that? If it's working for you, is it a show that you would continue? And do you feel that there's enough stories out there to bring to the table on the show?
Definitely. So Modest Muse, I don't think I ever told viewers the story of Modest Muse. So it started as an idea in my head just over 2.5 years ago. Pitched it to Media 24. I think I told viewers this in an interview with you. So I pitched it and I said there's not enough Islamic lifestyle content out there. There is content out there for non-Muslim women or women of other faiths about relationships, about marriage, about sex, about raising kids, about cooking, family, all of that. We experience all of that, but the content is not tailored to us. So this is the first time the content is tailored to our lifestyle. So the stories are only starting, Faisal. There's over enough content.
And then I know that currently you're shooting from a Western Cape perspective, but that's there because of geographical locality and that sort of thing. But I know that people watching around the country are probably thinking, when is Mushra visiting Durban, Johannesburg, to deal with some of the issues there? Do you feel that part of you do you feel that you have a responsibility now to people to be able to tell their stories and say, you know what, I want to make this change through the mediums?
I do feel I have a responsibility because everybody's got a story to tell, no matter where they're sitting. And even the people I've interviewed in Cape Town, their stories they're relatable right across the world, even though it's someone from Cape Town telling the story. But to add more spice and more dynamic, I do feel I need to explore South Africa and Africa and tell those stories as well. like I said, let's see where it goes, and if Bjorn, the camera guy, will follow me there.
Of course, talking about following, I know that they do want to follow you today and see what the regimen is all about. The typical day for you coming in the show, I know, is that I bump into your guest and we see them getting ready and then you guys off. But always when you guys come out, we know that it's a bunch of females that was in studio because the noise comes out like it's a school coming out. So we know Mushra show is done.
And we love our selfies.
Yes,
we love taking photos in studio and outside to say, we were here and we did this today.
Correct, yes. So I know that you have something planned, and that's you're also taking viewers around on a sneak preview on some of the behind the scenes of your show.
I am, and the crew, some of the crew is not aware that we're going to film them, so we'll catch them unaware.
No, that's a good thing because generally they run away. so let's go and catch up with them.
We're going to meet people that's not normally in front of the camera, which is fun. Riaz, so you are the face of Deen TV and you selling Deen TV ad space. I need some tips from you on brands that we can have on the Modest Muse show.
Brands as in what? What do you mean?
Advertisers, give me tips that can fill my slot.
Okay, so basically we're looking at companies that covers the entire African continent because we are, Deen TV covers the whole African continent, so it wouldn't be, how can I say, it'll be very useful to have companies that's all around Africa, in South Africa, Joburg, and like where most of our viewers is coming from is Joburg and Cape Town and Durban.
Okay.
So if you have companies that's in that regions, I mean, that would be best suited.
I think I would look at companies wanting to target women because it's mostly women watching my show. A few men, but do you have any ideas of companies in Durban, Joburg, Cape Town?
So far, the only company that's for women that I'm thinking is the insurance company First for Women.
Yes.
Other than that, I don't really know much. Well, most companies that there's women.
Okay, you and I are going to sit and brainstorm later.
Yeah. I think I've done it.
So Memuna, whenever I come to studio, I'm surrounded by all of these males. Modest Muse is one of the first programs that's female hosted. I'm very glad to see another female face in studio, and I believe you and I will be working closely together. Please tell me, what ideas do you have for Modest Muse as a female?
I did some research on you.
Okay.
I was pleased to meet you. Very beautiful, more beautiful.
Thank you.
Off the camera than on it. So, involved with women. I also I'm a woman person, So get involved with those women who's doing good in the communities. The more of those that
Celebrate them.
They need to come together, sort of forum, because that is what we need to find the solutions to our issues that's out there.
Collaborate the network, okay?
Yeah.
So we need, and you are going to do a lot of.
It's like a urgency. It's like yesterday's work, and we need to get those counsellors out there to help us do the thing that we're supposed to do and what we're here for the purpose. That is what I say.
We'll chat. I think my contacts and your contacts need to synergize.
Need to flow.
Thanks, Memuna. Barik, please, can you tell me what time my next studio set is set for?
The next studio is for 1 to 3. That's 2 weeks time from now.
Okay, so my guests for today have cancelled. They can't make it. I think don't set aside 2 hours. Set aside 1 hour for next time. Barik organizes my life. He is my first point of contact for everything that is Deen TV. And without him, I don't know, my life would just crumble as a TV presenter. Thank you, Barik. This is Bjorn. Bjorn is our regular camera guy. Bjorn, I'm very, very upset that one of our episodes got lost. What happened? Because my guest might not be able to come back in and reshoot.
Well, that's just technology. Sometimes the cars malfunction or the camera malfunctions, but it's nothing we can really prevent without knowing it's going to happen.
So you couldn't save the episode? Is there no way?
Unless I'm a really good encryptor and programmer and all of that fancy stuff, but I'm not that far.
Well, as long as the card malfunctioned and the camera malfunctioned, but not the cameraman, then I'm okay with it.
I don't make mistakes, Mushra, really.
Okay, so now we've seen some behind the scenes footage of the crew that helps put all of this together. And now we're going to cut to some bloopers. The other side of Modest Muse interview that you don't get to see, that our editors cut out very nicely. How awesome was that window of that race? I watched it a few times. No? Wait van die kerk. Did you not watch him win the gold for South Africa? It's like,
Let me just explain to you.
My opinion of Mushra? Late. Always late. But wait, I can hear her coming.
should I keep my pinky like this? Oh my goodness, was it recording?
Oh no!
Recording.
No, this thing's recording. That's why, you know what, I just broke a rule.
So that was an unconventional take of a day in the life of Modest Muse in review. You've seen behind the scenes footage, you've seen bloopers, you've seen what the crew really thinks of me as a presenter. Please join us again next week where we interview some more phenomenal guests.